Welcome to this video that explains how to name your documents on our CPCAB courses. Principally, the reason we have naming conventions is so that both you and your tutor can easily find the documents you have submitted. It allows us to see which type of document it is and the number of documents you have. What's crucial about this is when your portfolio is verified at the end of the course, it makes it a lot easier for the tutor and for yourself to check that you actually have completed the coursework assigned and it has met criteria and the location of it is clearly identified. This is one of those processes that will get easier over time as you get more familiar with it. So feel free to come back to this video if anything feels unclear. Or if you want, in our action guide, you'll find how to name files. Or if you want a bit more detail of what's involved, go to your information guides and how to name your documents, and the information is there as well. So let's imagine you've completed a piece of work. You've got your CAS form here and you've written below all that you wanted to for that particular criteria. It's good to go. But how are we going to save the document appropriately and how do we name it? Typically, your tutor will let you know the type of evidence they are asking you to write about and will give you the abbreviation for it. Let's go for an example that this has not been shared and you're not too sure. How do you go about checking the type of document and how do we name it? So we'd come away from this document, the CAS sheet, where you've got all your evidence written out, and you go over to your main folder, scroll down to Information and Guides, and then you'll be finding the document saying how to present and name work. Opening this will give you a more detailed explanation of the naming conventions, font sizes, and so on. All we need is page 4, which details the file naming conventions. Here you'll see each evidence piece that can be provided and done over the course and their abbreviated name and the type of folder it will go into. On this top line, you'll see the learning review. This then becomes an LR when we come to save the actual document. And when saved, it goes into your documents and your learning review folder. Where a tutorial record, you'll use TR, self-review SR, and so on. Back then to the CAS sheet where you've written out all your evidence for that particular criteria. Either from your tutor's instructions or from our help guide, you'll know what type of document it is and the abbreviation to use. All you need to do is add the detail up here at the top right for the coursework. Taking one example, that top line we saw from the guide, we will put in first our initials, followed by the type of document. We'll also confirm this is the CAS sheet with the evidence and whatever number we are giving this document depending on where we are on the sequence. Let's start with simplicity with 0, 1. This naming sequence will clearly identify you, the type of document this is, a learning review, that it's a CAS sheet as well, so the evidence is alongside the CAS sheet together, and which number it is. So this is a complete document. The CAS is your top header if you like, and below it the evidence you've written. You then make sure it's named at the top right corner and then use that to actually name and save your file. Looking at another example, we will set an assignment midway through the course. Looking back to our how to present and name work, you'll see assignments are categorized as being AS for the assignment and is considered a document. With your CAS sheet completed with your assignment below, all you'll need to do is name it appropriately. In this case, it'll be your initials followed by AS and CAS to identify that this is also the CAS sheet and then the number against it. AA, AS, CAS 01. So then that's completed. You've written your name, the course you're on, the day, and clearly identified the naming of this particular piece of evidence. You have your header sheet and below you have your evidence. It's good to be saved and then submitted to your tutor, letting them know that it's in your work to be marked folder. However, there are occasions in which you will have just the CAS sheet, this header sheet, and a separate document filled out maybe by a peer or some feedback from a tutor. This is where you'll have two pieces of documents and need to name them appropriately. So let's do that now. So when might this happen? When might we need just this header sheet and then an accompanying document with the evidence on it? Typically, this will come from your peer observation skills sheets. These are the ones where you, as the observer, have noticed your peer demonstrate certain skills and you're writing about the feedback and what you've seen. Here is one example, and you'll find this in your templates folder. This, as you can see, is a separate document, one which you would fill out on each criteria as you witness them as the observer. These we do pretty much every lesson as part of our skills and building up that learning and knowledge, as well as gaining feedback. So the observer's role is to note down what they see and document it in this document here. For example, if they've seen the peer, you as a student, work within an ethical framework and have written enough inside this box here, your peer can claim 1.1 as a criteria. There may be enough evidence in there, they believe, that can warrant to be verified by your tutor that you've received 1.1. So with that as a single example, if that's the case, this document will then need to accompany your CAS sheet, creating two separate documents. How will we name this based on what I've just shared, where we have two documents coming together, the CAS and then the separate evidence? All this needs to be is the same as before. The initials, the type of document this refers to. In this case, it's a peer observation, and as you'll note back from our guides about naming conventions, this will be a PO. We'll identify this as the CAS, just for clarity, and again using the numbering sequence, whichever you are on at the time. Let's use 01 for now. Here we identify this document as your peer observation CAS sheet that has you looking to claim this criteria based on the evidence given by your observer. You would save this as is. There is no need for any further information, as the rest will be filled out by your tutor when they verify that criteria being met or not. It's a single header sheet at this point. So now we understand the type of document and the CAS sheet. How will we name our peer observation of skills? How do we make those join up? In this example here, imagine this has been completed and filled out by your peer. All we need to do in naming this document is follow the same convention. The only difference in this case is it's not a CAS, and we won't need to write that. For this example, I'll show you on the web how we will save it. And it's as simple as coming to the box on the left here and it says rename file. We delete what's there and replace it with the same convention. Our initials, the type of document it is, and just the sequence number of the actual peer observation. So it is AAPO01. Now the numbering sequence becomes more important, because on our CAS sheet we have 01, and that has to match these observations sheets. Both need to be 01. What we're making a distinction here is that one is a CAS sheet that is separate and the other is the main piece of evidence. Now, throughout the course, things like this will happen where evidence is presented separately, and then you'll need to generate a CAS sheet to go alongside it. Both are submitted into your work to be marked folder, and the tutor will assess and verify the work. This happens on peer observations or tutor witness statements in which from the discussions we've witnessed enough to meet the criteria. The important part about any criteria and making sure you're awarded it is that for every piece of work you're submitting, you are required to have a CAS sheet, be it a separate document or the header for the main evidence you've written. We appreciate this may feel overwhelming, this process, but it will become easier over time. We've highlighted the key things we need to see. I hope that's been clear, but any questions, take them up with your tutor or check out our guides.